First off, what is your name and what company are you with?
Yeah, Scott Brady from Monarch Diagnostics. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Monarch Diagnostics.
All right, so exactly for someone that doesn't know, what does Monarch Diagnostics exactly do?
So we are one of the probably the few labs in Southern California that specialize in toxicology and blood work for treatment centers and mental health facilities.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't really go chase any other types of businesses. We've kind of honed in on that space just because we're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So we're really just trying to get better and better and better at that space.
So exactly how does someone why does someone actually use a lab? Because there's other ways, you got the for anyone that doesn't even know, I mean, like the little P cups or whatever,
Right?
right?
Yeah, panels. Yeah.
So someone can just simply use that. Is that okay with like the criteria for the industry?
Yeah, I
Or
think that some folks that use that are using it for regular everyday testing, but
yeah.
when you're really trying to provide the best client care, and whether you're at a detox or a residential facility or something like that, it's about the consistency of care, right?
Yeah.
And you want to see if somebody's levels are going up or levels are going down, especially if it's, you're talking IOP where they're in and out maybe.
Yeah.
Even you want to make sure that they're doing the steps and they're doing the things that they need to do while they're outside of the facility. So bringing it in and sending it to a lab and making sure that the medications are being taken properly. They're not using if it's SUD, and just the consistency of client care comes from being able to get the data from the lab results to make sure that the levels are right or negative or
Yeah.
positive. We don't like to be an I got you lab, right? We're not an I got you lab. We're a data lab. We give you the data so that you can provide the best client care that you possibly need to.
So, okay, now so is it something that a treatment center in itself has to use? Like, do they have to use a lab, or can they use their own cups?
No, they don't have to use a lab, right? But it can making sure that you're using a lab and getting that plethora of panels, right? Where it becomes either it's medication management, you have them on meds, you want to make sure they're taking the meds, it's not being passed around the house or the facility,
Yeah.
right? Whether somebody comes in at a detox, you want to make sure their levels are going down through the process of the detox, right? Some folks are out there using cups, right? Some
Yeah.
folks will use a 12 panel or a 14 panel cup. The inconsistency of those cups
Yeah.
is why you're not delivering the best client care you possibly can. And the fact that we test for validity, right? So we know it's actual urine and not something that they got at a smoke shop or whatever the case may be,
Yeah, I've heard of
which is super important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was important when I was doing it. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
So, like, but with all these things that are, like, there's other substances, like, for instance, what's huge right now I'm seeing in detoxes and in treatment in general is kratom.
right.
And
Yeah.
I'm kind of on this bandwagon too, because it's popping up and there's not a lot of education around it, and it's really
Right.
challenging to get off it. So with all these different substances that are out there, like on a certain panel of a cup, I mean, is kratom and psychedelics and all these other things that could potentially influencing and like messing up their treatment, is that all on a cup?
No, no. And I think kratom, you hit right on the head, right? It's a Southeast Asian plant, which is why there's not a lot of data there, right? You can't grow kratom here like cannabis or anything
Yeah.
else, right? There's very limited data because of where it comes from. And now there's so many different types of kratom and different levels. You know what I mean?
Concentrated kind.
Concentrated, right? Kratom is one that's super important to test for. We added it to our menu quite some time ago. I think we were one of the first actually to add it to
Wow.
the menu, only because of people can access it anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're really trying to get somebody to turn the corner into recovery, we don't want them to substitute,
Yeah.
right? I don't want them to
Yeah.
substitute. I want everybody to find their peace and and follow their hope, right?
Yeah.
So just removing that kratom piece is a big piece. Plus, it has a crazy detox.
It does.
It has a
Brutal.
gnarly detox. So just getting people to get focused on there's other ways around it without
Yeah.
trying to substitute it.
Wow.
So we test for it.
So are you seeing, so with what I'm hearing more so now is kratom's presenting itself, right? I mean, we know fentanyl has been a huge thing for the years. It's
Yeah.
been a ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
And now on the psychedelics, like when someone's in treatment, like if someone is secretly using and having those behaviors, like that's triggering to the rest of the, people who
Right.
are in there, right?
Yeah.
And so like with your testing, for the people like, say the ones that aren't taking it seriously and secretly taking substances, like the cups aren't going to pop for psychedelics. So how does it work with you guys of even testing for psychedelics?
So we validate our machines to test for psychedelics,
So
right?
like when you go and test someone, you're like, bam, we're gonna test for all of this stuff
Yeah, we
every
test it
single
all.
time.
Yep. Yeah, we have the machine validated, right? So we have the analytes all validated in our machines. So, and to your point about psychedelics just being in the house or being in the facility, right? For the lack of a better term, it's behavioral health.
Yeah.
And if people aren't under the proper, mindset, right, you're kind of limiting their ability to adjust to the behavioral health side of things, right?
Yeah.
Because you might be treating them for a meth addiction or a fentanyl addiction, but when they're substituting it with psilocybin or something else, they're just really not in that frame of mind of
Yeah.
recovery. So we've just kind of blanketed the entire market when it comes to substance abuse and mental health on the medication management
Yeah.
side. So you guys, people that are in the treatment space can provide that client care they need so that people could be, we just want to boost the success rate.
Yeah.
We want to be a small arm
Yeah.
of service that continuously boosts the success rate.
So that is as a a treatment for a treatment owner, does and it's a very niche question, but does that help with the billing side? Does like having that information, does that assist with anything as far as like their length of stay or any
Yeah, it
benefits?
absolutely can, right? It can extend their length of stay. It's probably one of the bigger reasons why people use it, to be honest with you, so
Yeah.
they can keep people in the
Which almost
facility longer.
benefits the client.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, the
benefits the
longer you
business,
stay.
benefits the client,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day, if you're in the business for the right reasons, money is just a byproduct of your service,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if we can provide a service that's going to allow them to stay longer, get healthier, find more hope,
Accountability.
have accountability, then that's what we want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So working in this space, you were telling me a little bit about your history of coming from a different line of work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of my questions, what inspired you to work in behavioral health?
I've had a tremendous amount of success after I walked away from my meth addiction 18 years ago.
Wow.
And I've been blessed to be around a lot of great people. And I had the opportunity to be a vice president of a Verizon retailer. And it was one that started with 18 stores and grew it to 2,500 and sold it over the years.
Wow.
So it was just a great run for me. I've been incredibly blessed to be surrounded by those people. When Mike, who used to work for me at the Verizon side, Mike Blakesley, who owns Monarch Diagnostics, called me and told me that the space that the lab was focusing in, it was an opportunity for me to get back into this space and start to help people.
Wow.
So it's been cool for me to go from places all the way from Malibu to the desert, to San Diego, and just see how people are operating in this space
Yeah.
and help any way we can, whether it be sponsoring events, sober events they're having, the end overdose golf tournament,
Oh, wow.
whatever it is, just to be involved in this space
Yeah.
coming from the other side.
Yeah.
Has been super cool. I'm getting ready to turn 48 years old tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's really cool for me to be on this back half of my working journey and being in this space. So I'm passionate about it. We're all passionate about it at Monarch.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to be here just to see how it grows.
So if people could understand the brand, what you're saying, like it's special, I think, for people. Like, yeah, you provide a service, but the heartbeat behind it is, you have a passion, you have a history with using substances,
Right.
and the fact that it's, like when you sponsor those events. So I've done, some events in the past, and when people sponsor these events, within the events, like a lot of the money went to, I think you may sponsor one of my golf tournaments.
We probably did. Yeah.
So a lot of the sponsorship, there's a 501c3, a nonprofit,
Right.
and within those nonprofits is that money actually goes to help people that need to get in treatment but don't have the resources.
Right.
So by you guys actually sponsoring some of these events and the end overdose and all those things, like
Yeah.
that is really powerful for a brand, not just to be, like you're actually doing good things with your money too.
Right. I'll tell you, we don't have a marketing budget. We don't do a lot of print work. We don't do a lot. We do boots on the ground. I probably have one of the most phenomenal teams in the space when it comes to account managers and sales reps and just the support and operations.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible to be completely honest with you. We show up to an event, we're there 3-4 deep, right?
Yeah.
We go to like a golf tournament, like you said, or some of the stuff at West Coast or some of the other events, right? We're going 3 or 4 deep in there, and we're not talking labs. Right? I want to hear about your business.
Yeah.
I want to know what challenges you're facing, right? Because if I can figure out all that, we're taking it back and we're figuring out how to get better to be able to better support you.
Yeah.
I tell my team all the time, we're not in the lab space, we're in the people business.
Yeah.
And if we can focus on being in the people business, we're going to continuously be successful.
So what's been the biggest thing that, because I have a feeling you have this leadership role and you like to inspire the team,
Absolutely.
is what about that do you love so much about working with the team?
I just love the fact that the team is super open to meet people where they're at, right? Because we start with people that are just opening facilities and have no idea what the next move is going to be.
Yeah.
And then we have people that have been around for 14, 15, 20 years, right? In the space and seen the space evolve and shift and do all those things too, right? Where I just want people to meet people where they're at have a human aspect. We call it nurturing, right? We're a nurturing sales environment
Mm.
where all we do is go out there and nurture relationships. And when there's a need or a want, we just want to be available to be able to fulfill that, right?
Yeah.
Most of our business isn't us going out and getting the business. Most of our business is, hey, I met you at this event. I now have a need. I'm switching or whatever the case may be. I want to talk to you a little bit more about what we talked about that event,
Yeah.
because we continuously nurture those relationships and show up and be present, not just in print, but in person, which is pretty cool.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so getting to know you. Now you have experience, you say you're 18 years sober?
18 years, yep.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, Going on that side of it, if you could give someone this is what I have is if you could give one piece of advice to someone struggling or to their family, what would it be? Someone that's currently right before they go to treatment or currently dependent on substances or struggling with mental health. What is something a piece of advice you'd give to the family or the individual?
I think that there's hope.
Yeah.
I think there was a point in my life where I didn't think there was any more hope, right? I
Yeah.
was 30 years old, still running the streets, just going crazy. And
So you were running the street, like coming from the VP, these, great, titles, right?
Yeah.
Running business, doing these incredible things. You weren't this version when 18 years ago.
No,
were you?
absolutely
What was that
not.
18 version? What was
18
that
years
guy?
ago, I was just, I was probably putting the same amount of effort in as I did in recovery, but I was doing it to get it back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was every day. That was my goal. My goal was to get high, stay high, and just remove a lot of like nuances that happened in my life previously, and it was my escape route, right? And just the fact that I didn't want to be the guy that just continuously got older and older with the addiction.
Yeah.
I wanted to find a way to just flip it and find the hope, and I couldn't find it until one day. It was amazing. I just woke up and there was a gentleman who came to me and told me how disappointed he was in me because he knew my family and he knew my life and he knew my parents, and my parents have been married for over 50 years. I don't come from a broken home. I just made bad adult decisions, right? And so that gentleman ended up kind of giving me the boost that I needed, that there was going to be hope. So I kind of just packed all my stuff up, went and got help in Nebraska, and just turned my whole life around.
You went to treatment.
Yeah, in Nebraska, and just kind of really honed in. It was a very quick stint for me in the treatment space. I had a great support system. I think for me, it was more of a trigger, that I'm done. You know what I mean? Life is, I've hit a wall. People say you build, you can build a solid life on rock bottom. I was absolutely at rock bottom, in and out of jail, getting busted all the time, taking money from, my parents or stealing stuff, the whole 9 yards. It was a disaster, right?
Yeah.
And this is, early 2000s, late 90s. So, life was a little bit different for folks back then. We didn't have social media and all this other stuff, we didn't have Cash Apps and Venmo, right?
Yeah.
So it was just interesting for me. But I will tell people that are going into treatment right now, as much as your family wants it, as much as the people at the facility want you to get help, just know there's hope, and you can get help, right?
Yeah.
You can turn the corner. I never thought that I was going to be where I was in as a VP running 6,000 people. 6,000 people reported me at what time, and never knew it in a million years, right? But I had the opportunity to be able to do it. I embraced it.
Yeah.
And I never forgot where I came from, but at the same time, I always knew that where I was going is the direction I needed to be headed in, right? So I just focused on that and just focused on doing the job that I was doing better than anybody else that was doing it. Not trying to get promoted, not trying to move my life left or right, just doing what I was supposed to do better than everybody else that was doing it, and then went to the next step and the next step. And they say step by step, brick by brick, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I built it.
So people saw you. I think what you just said right there, just if you get a job, no matter what it is, doing the best that you can.
Yeah.
Someone's watching.
Somebody's watching.
Right?
That's right.
And you're not doing it thinking people are watching, but if you have anything to do, you're gonna do a damn good job.
That's right.
If I'm gonna sweep the floors, I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna be the best at it, right?
So-
Just be the best at it.
Well, you had a male figure, and I'll leave this with this, is having a male role model in your life, as men,
Right.
I think, and men or women, but as men, how important is it to have a mentor or this male figure in your life that is maybe where you want to be in life?
It's incredibly important.
Yeah, what about that is
It's incredibly important. I mean, you want to see where you want to go, right? You want to visually be able to see it, understand it. And if you have somebody in your life that's living that life, right, that has that mentor mentality, or has the success that you want, or has the sobriety that you want, just has the life that you want, that's tangible, right? You can look at it and see it and feel it, and that person's delivering it to you. That's a mentor, right? That's the definition of mentorship. And you want that. You want somebody that you can literally attach to and say, what were the things that you did that didn't work? What are
Mm,
the things that you did that did work? A lot of people want to focus on everything they did that did work.
mm,
I want to know about all the failures
yeah,
too, right? And how'd you overcome those failures? Well, you get that through mentorship.
yeah,
So being able to attach to somebody and piggyback off of their success and failures will just continue to drive you forward, because now you know that every obstacle is just a speed bump, not a
yeah,
roadblock, right?
yeah,
And you can get over top of that because you're seeing somebody who did it,
yeah.
and it's super important, right?
And if you're lucky enough to find someone that is willing to do that with you, like
Oh,
to notice that, I'm like, wow, that's a gift. Because I just had a guy, young guy, 23 years old, and he was gonna be rolling with me, and I was gonna
hmm,
help him with on the recovery side, the mental health side,
right.
also on the business and the career path as well. He wasn't ready, man, and I
Yeah,
don't know if he truly saw that. And I mean, if you were lucky enough to find that in life, you got to stay with
you
it,
got to
right?
embrace it.
You got to notice that, right?
Yeah, I have an incredible mentor.
I was gonna ask, do you
Um,
have one?
yeah, absolutely. I actually have his name's tattooed on my arm right here.
Heck yeah,
He absolutely just took me underneath his wing, seen something that I didn't see at the time.
yeah,
To your point about the other gentleman that you're just talking about, right? They got to want it too, you know.
yeah,
A leader without followers is just wandering around,
hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so you got to have followers, right?
yeah,
To be a leader. I think the point for me is that, going back to your 23-year-old, is there is things that he's going to take from whatever that short-term journey
mm,
was, that he's going to understand, because he's going to grow and mature,
mm,
right? For me, I was in my 30s when a guy took me around. Put his arm around me and said, "Hey, follow me. We're going to make this work."
yeah.
He's like, "I see something in you. You got the it factor. Let's go."
And that's
Right?
the guy with the
That's the
tattoo.
guy. Yeah. So he was just one of those guys that when I failed, he made sure I knew about it,
Mm,
but he made me fix it. Nobody fixed it. He didn't fix it for me,
mm,
right? He allowed me to fail so that I could fix it, so that I could understand what failure felt like and how to fix it, right?
wow.
And but he was there, always there to support me
Mm,
for questions answered, or emotional support, or whatever it was that I needed to be able to grow. At one point, I had an opportunity to kind of catapult from where position I was at to a higher position and skip 2 levels, and he wouldn't let me do it.
mm,
I had to go through every level to be able to get there,
heck yeah.
right? So just that type of mentorship, and that type of real, mentorship, not just, hey, read this book and tell me what you feel about it,
Yeah.
but really like real life examples, has been incredibly important. I'll be honest with you, I watch you on a regular basis on your socials.
Okay.
And if anybody's watching it, right, you may not know it. They may not like the button or make a comment, man, but it makes me feel good seeing it,
Well,
right?
thanks.
And a guy who's been through the journey and is on the journey, it's incredible for me to watch.
Thank
So sometimes you might not even know that you're mentoring people, right?
you.
But you got
Yeah.
to stay consistent and be out there and doing it. And that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. And hopefully that's what I'm doing with me and my team, and
Yeah.
just the people that I contact in this business.
Oh, thank you. And
Yeah.
final thing, who is Scott Brady today?
Scott Brady is a father, a husband. I've been married for 18 years with my wife for 25. She's been through the entire journey with
Wow.
me. I'm a grandpa of 4, which is crazy to be in itself. 5 kids, 4 grandbabies. I'm a guy who's at my last stop with Monarch Diagnostics.
Mm,
That's how passionate I am about Monarch Diagnostics. I'm passionate about the growth and the people that we have within the company. I'm passionate about the space.
mm,
We've had opportunities to branch off and do other verticals, and we just want to be really good at this
smart.
space. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be where I'm at in life. I'm the guy that's making his mom proud finally,
Heck yeah.
and that's super important to me,
Yeah.
right? And Monarch Diagnostics has allowed me to do that and continuously do that. And I'm just a humble guy that just wants to help people, just like you do.
Heck
Personally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with this incredible team over here, heck yeah.
Yeah, those are my people for sure. I love them. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
doing
man.
this.
Thank you. Thanks
Appreciate
for your
it.
time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.